Day 6, Chapter 2, page 26. Crimes, famines, and pestilence. Satan is working in the atmosphere. He is poisoning the atmosphere. And here we are dependent upon God for our lives, our present and eternal lives. And being in the position that we are, we need to be wide awake, wholly devoted, wholly converted, wholly consecrated to God. But we seem to sit as though we were paralyzed. The God of heaven, wake us up. God has not restrained the powers of darkness from carrying forward their deadly work of vitiating the air, one of the sources of life and nutrition, with deadly miasma. Not only is vegetable life affected, but man suffers from pestilence. These things are the result of drops from the vials of God's wrath. God takes responsibility for that which he allows or does not prevent. See Exodus 7 verses 3 and 8 verse 32. 1 Chronicles 10 verses 4, 13 and 14. Being sprinkled on the earth, but are faint representatives of what will be in the near future. Famines will increase. Pestilences will sweep away thousands. Dangers are all around us from the powers without and satanic workings within. But the restraining power of God is now being exercised. I have been shown that the Spirit of the Lord is being withdrawn from the earth. God is keeping power will soon be refused to all who continue to disregard his commandments. The reports of fraudulent transactions, murders, crimes of every kind are becoming to us daily. Iniquity is becoming so common thing that it no longer shocks the senses as it once did. God's purpose in calamities. What mean the awful calamities by sea, vessels hurled into eternity without a moment's warning? What mean the accidents by land, fire consuming the riches that men have hoarded, much of which has been accumulated by oppression of the poor? The Lord will not interfere to protect the property of those who transgress his law, break his covenant, and trample on his Sabbath, accepting in its place a spurious rest day. The plagues of God are already falling upon the earth, sweeping away the most costly structures as if by a breath of fire from heaven. Will not these judgments bring professing Christians to their senses? God permits them to come, that the world may take heed, that sinners may be afraid and tremble before him. God has a purpose in permitting these calamities to occur. They are one of his means of calling men and women to their senses. By unusual workings through nature, God will express to doubting human agencies that which he clearly reveals in his word. How frequently we hear of earthquakes and tornadoes, of destruction by fire and flood, with great loss of life and property. Apparently these calamities are capricious outbreaks of disorganized, unregulated forces of nature, wholly beyond the control of man, but in them all God's purpose may be read. They are among the agencies by which he seeks to arouse men and women to their sense of danger. The coming events are in the hands of the Lord. The world is not without a ruler. The program of coming events is in the hands of the Lord. The majesty of heaven has the destiny of nations as well as the concerns of his church in his charge. These symbolical representations, the fiery serpents in the wilderness, serve a double purpose. From them, God's people learn not that the physical forces of earth are under the control of the Creator, but that also under his control are the religious movements of nations. Especially is this true with reference to the enforcement of Sunday observance. In the great closing works, we shall meet with perplexities that we know not how to deal with. But let us not forget that the three great powers of heaven are working, that a divine hand is on the wheel, and that God will bring his purposes to pass. As the wheel-like complications were under the guidance of the hand beneath the wings of the cherubim, so the complicated play of human events is under divine control, amidst the strife and tumult of nations. He that sitteth above the cherubim still guards the affairs of the earth. See Ezekiel 1 verses 4, 26, 10 verses 8, and Daniel 4 verses 17, 25, and 32. In the annals of human history, the growth of nations, the rise and fall of empires, appear as if dependent on the will and prowess of men. The shaping of events seem to a great degree to be determined by his power, ambition, or caprice. But in the Word of God the curtain is drawn aside, and we behold above, behind, and through all the play and counterplay of human interests and power and passions, the agencies of the all-merciful One, silently, patiently working out the counsels of his own will. Heaven's regard for earth's affairs. In sparing the life of the first murderer, God presented before the whole universe a lesson bearing upon the great controversy.